Hello and welcome. Now let's talk about collections. Smalltalk has a very nice collection hierarchy. A lot of nice collections ready for you to be used. Take a look on the simplest one. So what is this? Let's inspect it. It is an instance of class array. So this is a simple way to create an array. So we have created an array with 6 boxes, and each box has his own small integer object. Okay, great. What do you think this will do? So first of all, who's the receiver? Well, array, this guy. Now, what do we send? We send message size to it. All right, so what is an array? It is a collection of objects, right? It's like a storage which can hold several objects. Okay, is it reasonable to ask for a size of this storage? I think it is. So why don't we try? Look, we send message size to our array and we received 6. So array responded to that message. So do you think method size implemented somewhere? That instance of class array can find this method somewhere on its way to object? Must be. How do you understand this code? What is this? Well, first of all, it is an instance of class array. Yes, it is. How many boxes? 4 boxes. And what these boxes do hold? Well, different objects. So Smalltalk, not a typed language. So as long as it is an object, so you can store it in an array, no problem. Okay, so this is an example. One array is holding what? Small integer. If you click on box 1, yeah, our array, yeah, self. First box holding small integer. Second box holding a string. Third box float. And fourth box character. And take a look. This guy, string, right? It is a collection itself. It's a collection of characters. So we have a small plus here. If we click on it, so we can inspect every single character in that string. That's nice. So as you can see in Smalltalk, in array you can hold any object you want. It's like any kind of objects, and you can mix them all together, not a problem at all. Well, great. Array is capable of holding several objects, right? But how do I create an array with a specific number of boxes ready to hold something? Take a look. Who is this guy? Well, let's see. If we inspect it, what is this? Array class. Remember, if there is no class word in the title, we're looking at the instance. But now we can say array class. So we're actually talking to class array, to this important guy, creator of instances of class, instances of array. Okay, great. So we're talking to it, and what message do we send to it? Well, we send message new column, keyed message, right, which takes 1 parameter, and we pass 5 as a parameter. So what do you think will this create? So again, we talk to the class array and we say, hey, we need a new, what? New instance of yours with how many boxes? 5 empty boxes. All right, so why don't we try? I send this, execute this code, and I inspect the result. Look, we're getting a new instance of class array. See, there is no word class here. So it is an instance of class array with what? 5 boxes. And they all, what? Nils. They're all empty. They're ready to hold some objects, but at the moment they don't hold anything. Great, but that's what we wanted. We have 1 object capable to hold another 5 objects. Perfect. Well, take a look on this code. So what do you think about it? So first of all, who is the receiver? This guy. And this guy is a class array, correct? Well, I'm not sure. Yes, it is class array. Great. Now, what message do we send to it? With column, with column, with column. So, okay, and we pass 3 objects as parameters along with this message. Okay, so what do you think that will create? Well, let's see. I inspect the result, and I'm getting an instance of class array, so no word class, with how many boxes? 3 boxes. And boxes do hold what? 100, 200, and 300. Oh, okay. So see, this is an easy way to create an array and initialize, to put objects, well, to combine this all together. Array creation and actually assigning objects to the array. Now, well, that's nice, but I would like to see how that works, right? So with column, with column, with column. Well, I want to find the method which actually does this job, right? We send a message to an object, which happened to be class array, and we're getting the result. It must be a method somewhere, okay? Why don't we search for this? Show me implementers. Show me guys who implement method with. Okay? Take a look. How many of them? Only 2. Array collection class has method with implemented. Wow, interesting. Let's browse the hierarchy. Okay, so what do we see here? There is a class array collection, which is a superclass of our array class. Interesting. What do you think did happen here? Let's see. I'll close this. So we have a class array. We send a message to it, but class array doesn't have method with column implemented. So it's naturally jumped to its superclass, which happened to be array collection. See, it's a superclass of class array. So we jump up here, and here there is a method with column implemented for class itself. That's important. So we send message to the class. So our receiver, who happened to be class array, is looking for a method, but looking for where? It is not an instance, it's a class itself. So it's search for class method. So that's important. Big difference, right? So if we send message to an instance, well, instance will be searching for a method on the instance side of class. But since we send message to the class, well, class will be looking for a method on the class side. Okay, great. And here's a method. And by the way, who's the receiver here? Very easy. Class array. To whom we send message to class array. So class array is the receiver of the message with column. All right, first object, second object, third object. Okay, 3 parameters. And let's read the command. Answer a new instance of class containing only these 3 objects. That's exactly what we get. Remember, we send message to class array, we received an instance of this class with how many objects? With 3 objects inside. Okay, take a look. I can see another method here with column. What is that? Well, can we do just this? What do I do now? I send message with column and pass 100 as a parameter, and I send it to the class array. What do you think that will create? Well, let's see. I inspect the result. So we're getting an array, an instance of class array with how many boxes? Just 1. And what is inside of this box? Our parameter. Oh, okay, great. And what method do you think did this job? Well, I think this one. This is a method which responds to message with column. So it is a class method which is implemented on the class side, and it's implemented in class array collection, which is a superclass of our array class. But array class will find it anyway because it will jump one step up in the way to find the method. So, and here it is. Look, there's another one. We can create 2 boxes, or we can create 4 boxes, or what is this? With all. If we open it, okay, new elements. Let's read the command. Answer a new instance of array containing all the elements of new elements of each element. Well, if elements, no elements, established position to new collection. Okay, what it is really? So you can send message with all column and pass another collection as a parameter. Why don't we try? So I want to send this message to my array, and I want to pass what? Another array as parameter. Look, what is happening here? We send message to class array. It is a class, right? What message do we send? With all column. And what do we pass as a parameter? Who is this guy? Well, it is an array. Okay, great. Now, why don't we try? And I want to inspect the result. Look, we're getting a new instance of class array, and all these elements copied to this new array. All right, excellent. Seems to work just fine. Okay, let's take a look at this code. Temporary variable. Okay, what do we assign it? Array new. So this is a new instance of class array. Agree with me? So we talk to class and say, please create a new instance of yours with 2 empty boxes. So let's see if it is working. Yes, it is. An instance of class array, box 1, box 2, both empty. Good. Now, we're talking to this array, and what do we send? What do we say? We say add column, put column. So what does it mean? Add column, box number, put an object. Oh, okay, interesting. Take a look. I will inspect this array. So I create an array, I put in the first box string first, and I selected array because I want to see this in inspector. Look, so our first box is holding string first. Yeah, absolutely. And our second box is still empty. Good. Now, if I want to extract object from box number 1, I send a different message. I send message add column, and I pass the name, the index of this box as a parameter. Take a look. So this line actually put string first in the first box, right? But if I want to take contents of first box, I send message add column and pass 1 as a parameter. So that should return a string first from the first box. Kind of confusing. Okay. Look, do you understand how it's all working? So for array is a common protocol, 2 common messages, add column, put column, to store information in array, and to retrieve objects from array, we send message add column. Okay, take a look on this code. So what do you think? First line, declare variable, create a new array with 2 empty boxes, and store this inside of this variable. So basically we have array with 2 boxes, right? Here it is. And we have box 1 and box 2. Great. Now I'm talking to this array and I'm trying to retrieve something from it, but I'm requesting an object from box number 3 which do not exist. What do you think will happen? Let's see. I select this and I execute it, and I'm getting an error message. Okay. Due to index out of range. Well, absolutely, because, well, we don't have box number 3 in our array. What do you think about 0? We have 1 and 2, but not 0. Yeah, same problem. Okay. Take a look on this piece of code. Temporary variable, create a new array with 4 boxes inside. Yep, here it is. Now, what do we do here? We try to put in each box of our array another array. So in other words, array of arrays. Can we do that? Take a look, it's right here. So from 1 to array size. And array size will give us what? 4. Because, well, our array has 4 boxes. We created an array with 4 boxes. So we're going from 1 to for, we do. See, to do. We just talked about this just recently. And message to column, do column, take one argument block, right? So and here it is, one argument block. We have a temporary variable. And what do we say? Array at index. Oh, it's probably a little bit better to call it I. Okay, so we say array at index put. And what do we do here? We create a new array. So what do you think will happen? Let's see. I inspect the result. So no error messages. That's great. Now we have an instance of class array with 4 boxes. That's great, because that's what we created here, right? Now, what do we have inside of those boxes? I click on box number 1. Look, in our array, in first box, there is another array with 4 empty boxes. And same with second box, third, and fourth. Well, not a problem. Absolutely. Why it shouldn't be? Why it should be? Remember, array is capable to hold any objects. Any. And any means any, including another array. So that works perfectly fine. Well, array is a nice structure. Very simple, very well known from another languages. Very fast, but it has several limitations. First of all, to address boxes, you always have to use, well, integer, right? So box 1, box 2, and so on. And another thing, it cannot grow. So, for example, if you created an array for 10 elements, and well, you need to keep 11, so you have to create another array and copy all this, but it automatically doesn't grow for you. In other collections, can do it for you. That's a limitation. Take a look on this piece of code. What is happening here? So first of all, we have an array, right? Okay, yeah, there's an array. Great, and what message do we send? First, what do you think that will return? Well, probably a first element of our array. Array is a collection of elements, right? So we're saying, please give us first. If we display, yeah, we're getting 1. Well, if we do have first one, it's logical to assume there is a last one, right? So why don't we try to ask for last one? Yeah, we're getting last element. Great. Take a look on this code. Well, simple array, 3 elements inside, 3 different characters, A, B, and C. Now, what if I need to know if this array contain, let's say, character B, and I need to know more than that. I need to know in what box array contain this object. Well, there is a message, index of column, which I can send to array, and I do provide an object what I'm interested in. Let's say this, right? So take a look again. So I'm talking to array, so this is an array. I say, hey, give me an index of this object. Well, what shall we get? Let's see. 2. Perfect. Because B, it's actually sitting in the second box. Interesting. Now, what if I'm asking for an element which is not there? I'm talking to array, say, array, give me index of Z character. But we don't have any, right? So what do you think will be logical to expect? Well, let's see. 0. And 0 means, sorry, well, I don't have that object inside. Now, kind of nice method. What if I want to find and browse implementation of it? Okay, implementers, and see, many objects do implement method index of column. Well, I'm interested in arrays implementation. What do you think will be? Which one should I pick? Well, why don't we try this one? We browse a hierarchy. Let's see. Yeah, object collection, array collection, array. Okay, look. Our guy is instance of class array. We send message index of. and it's looking for a method, index of. So not here, not here, not here, and finally it's found it all in here. Let's see. Index of right here, an element. And when you read comment, well, it makes sense. Transfer an integer. Remember, we send message, and we received a small integer object, which is a first index which receiver of this equivalent Very clear. And they're saying first, right? What do they mean by that? Why don't we experiment a little more? So if we're asking for B again, right? And we have B here and there. So what shall we get? Well, according to comment, we should get first found, probably this one. Let's see. Yep, even though we have another one, well, index of givens and index of first element found. Okay, great. All right, I'm back to our example with missing element. So, but what if I want to ask for an object, and if object is not found, I want to, come up with a message to my user saying, well, sorry, we don't have that object in our storage place. So how can we do that? Well, why don't we try this? Well, there is another method, right? Message. Index of column if absent column. So I'm saying, well, please give me index of that. And if absent, I want to do something. So what do you think I should pass as a parameter, as a second parameter with this message? Once again, I'm talking to array, to this guy. I'm saying, well, I need the index of this object. If you don't have it, I want you to do this, this, and this. Okay, yeah, block. Block will be perfect for this. So let's say I want to show something on system transcript. Take a look. I'm saying, give me index of that character. And if absent, execute this piece of code. Transcript show not found. Okay, why don't we try? Look, since we do not have that, so we come up with a message on the system transcript. Okay, great. Well, it is working, that's great, but how do I supposed to know what do I pass as a parameter? Block, yeah, kind of logical. If absent, do block. But what kind of block? We have many different blocks, right? 0 argument, 1 argument, 2 argument. So which one? So do I have to keep it all in memory or how? Well, it's actually very simple, right? So we just need to find this method and read the comment and read the parameters name. Why don't we try? Yeah, here it is. Index of column if absent column. So first element, so that's element we are looking for. And this is a block. If exception happens, so we cannot find an element, so we have to do a piece of code. Okay, great. And read this. Fail if the receiver does not contain an element. An exception block is not a 0 argument block. So they're saying, so this guy, exception block, must be 0 argument block. Otherwise, that method will not work. Interesting. Okay, why don't we test it? So we create an argument, something like this. And we try to execute this once again. Error message. Due to invalid argument count. Okay, so that was right. What I'm trying to show here, so you don't really have to remember anything. All you need to do, go through the class library, search for methods, investigate it, read comments, try to use it, and you will find amazing amount of useful code which you can reuse in your application. And another thing, just quite often by reading the message as a parameter. to this. So what do you think I should supply as a parameter? Right? So we're saying array, we need like sub-array from you. If we display the result, look, it is working. B, C, and B. These three elements was copied. What do you think this will do? Okay, so we're talking to array and say, well, we need copy U without something. So we do provide an element, let's say this. So, and we execute it, yes, perfect, it is working. So we get a subarray, our original array without element we have provided. What do you think this will do? Again, we're talking to array and we ask, hey, do you include this object? So what do you think will be a logical response from array? Well, we're asking, do you have this element or not? And answer probably will be true or false. Okay, let's try. Yep, so includes return true if our receiver, our array, include the element we have passed as a parameter, and false otherwise. And of course, all these methods implemented, and you can find them and browse the implementations and learn from this. Why don't we try to find this one? Okay. So there is a array collection. So it's a superclass of array. Very likely this guy is executed. Why don't we browse hierarchy? Okay, yeah, array doesn't have it, so array collection has it. Great, includes. Answer a boolean, exactly. We receive true or false depending on result, which is true if object equivalent one of the receiver elements, false otherwise. Interesting. Well, now take a look at this. So, any comments? How can you explain what do you see here? Well, what kind of object is this, first of all? Well, array, right? So if we inspect it, yes, it is an array. How many elements? 4. We can see it right here. Are they all the same? No. We have a float object here, float, and we have 3 small integers. Okay, simple enough. What about this? A simple array, 10 boxes, small integers everywhere. Yep, very simple. How about this? Very simple too. Array with a bunch of characters inside. Yep, here it is. Yep, 5 boxes. And what is this? Array, 3 strings inside. Yep, and each element of this array is a string. So this is a little bit more interesting. So we have a small array, different elements inside. Okay, if we open an inspector, you have 4 boxes, right? First is a small integer. Second contains a string with 3 elements. Yeah, 3 characters. Third element is a character, and the last one is an array itself with what? A small integer, a string, and a character. Okay, makes sense. Take a look at this code. Very simple. Define a temporary variable, assign a string to it, and then send message substrings to this string. What do you think will happen? Let's see. I inspect the result, and the result is an instance of class array with 8 boxes, and each element, each box contains 1 word from the receiver, and the receiver was string, right? So we subdivided, we split the string to a bunch of words. Okay, so as you can see, very nice structure. It could be very useful and has a lot of nice methods ready to be used. Now, why don't we investigate and browse a class and see what other methods are there? Okay, how can we do that? Well, for example, we can say browse class array. Okay, we have a class browser right here. Yeah, we look at class array, and we have a list of categories. and here we can see a list of methods implemented in that class for instances of this class. By the way, if we want to send some messages to class, we have to switch to the class side, right? So that's what we can send to class itself. Okay, so let's take a look on instance methods. Okay, many, but not too many. Well, many messages what we sent before we don't see here. Well, how come? Well, very easy. Remember, array, it is a subclass of something, and when you send a message, your object is looking for method in his own class first, and then go all the way up to root class object looking for a method. So, but what if I want to see all these methods? Can I? Oh, absolutely. Take a look. This is a method panel, right? Show us methods. So if I do right click and go visibility, and I have several options here. So I can go and choose to the root class, to the object class, and then I will see all the methods which are available for our instance of class array. Or I can choose root -1, and that's a most preferable choice. Because, well, root class has a lot of methods implemented, but they're very general, very common, and usually they're not related to, well, the protocol our objects do support. Okay, so this is a good choice. Or we can say to named class. Look, if I choose this, so this is my class array, right? And he has a super class. It's like a hierarchy upside down, right? So array collection is a super class of array. Sequential collection, and an object. So why don't we choose to see everything to collection class? Okay, take a look. So we have a lot of methods. Okay, that's great. Now, as you can see, well, sometimes we can see the same method, like for example, comma, implemented in array collection class and sequenceable collection class. Well, yes, that's because polymorphism, right? Different classes can implement the method with exactly the same name. Yeah, but in our case, I'm investigating arrays behaviors, right? And I know that methods will be executed, which is closest to array class. So if I don't want to see these duplications, again, here I can see include only first. So show me only methods which will be found first. I can see second, but they will not be executed if I send message to array anyway. So if I click on this, now I get rid of duplications. And this is our methods which will be respond to the messages which we can send to array. And that all should work. And as you can see, some methods do have in brackets a class name. So this is a class where they are implemented. Okay, so let's browse them. Take a look at this method, what I found here. Copy with. Take an element and answer what? A copy of receiver, which is one bigger than receiver and contain new element as a last element. Interesting. Why don't we try it? So I want to send this message to an array. So let's create an array. Now take a look. There's an array, and we send message copy with column, and we pass another small integer as a parameter. So if we understand this comment correctly, we should get an new array with 4 elements, and small integer 55 will be last element there. Let's see. Run. I select all this and inspect the result. Yep. Okay, we're getting a new array. So original 1, 2, 3 plus additional element, which is 55. Okay, great. Take a look at another one. Is empty, implemented in class collection. But of course, array objects will find it there. So now I have an array, right? And I send message is empty to it. So what do you think that should return? So again, I'm talking to collection, array, and I'm asking, are you empty or not? So logical, answer will be true or false, right? So let's see. Display the result. Yes, false. Why false? Because this collection is not empty, right? We have 3 elements in this array. Now, what if we do this? And we display the result? True. Oh, absolutely. Now, take a look. This method is empty, is implemented, right? So, and it's returning true or false. How do you think that method is implemented? What is inside of that method? What is implementation of this method? Can you implement something like this? Well, let's say we're not ready to implement it, but we want to learn and see how this method implemented. Maybe we can understand it. Let's click on it. Take a look. Implementation is right here. Self, who is self? Receiver. In our case, we send message is empty to this array. So at runtime, at execution time, self will be this guy. Array with 3 elements, 1, 2, 3. Now, size. Size should give us size of our receiver, which is what? 3, right? Yeah, small integer 3. Perfect. Now, self size give us 3. And now we compare it. Is it identical or, well, let's say equal to 0? And that will give us true or false. And that true or false, they do return from this method. Simple enough. So no place for mistakes here. Very easy, very nice done. Again, this method will return true or false depending on the size of the receiver. If size of the receiver 0, yes, it will be true, it is empty. Make perfect sense. Now let's read the comment. Answer a boolean, yes, true or false, which is true if receiver contains elements and false otherwise. Perfect. How about this one? Not empty. So we send message not empty to our array. Yeah, here's a method, right? And we should get what? Now our array not empty. So, and we're getting true. And we should get false in this case. Yeah. Okay, great. Now, can you imagine implementation of that method? How would you implement it? Well, let's take a look how it is implemented already. So again, self size not equal to 0. And they return the result. And the result will be boolean, true or false, depending on the size of the receiver. And who's the receiver? Our guy. Take a look at this. Array, and we send message occurrences of. And we have to pass something as a parameter. What do you think shall we pass as a parameter? So we're talking to our array and say, well, listen, do you have this guy? And if you have, how many of them do you have? So for example, if I'm asking for occurrences of 3, so I'm basically asking, well, how many 3s do you have? Do you contain? So, and we should get what? We have 1 and we have 2. We should get 2 of it. Perfect, we are getting 2. So if I say, how about this? 1. And if I ask about 99. So, and our receiver, our array doesn't have any, right? So what should we get? I guess 0. Absolutely. Now, there is a method right here, occurrences of, implemented in class collection, which is fine. Now, can you think of any implementation of this method? Well, if you're interested, you can find this method and browse the implementation and learn from this. It's just a few lines of code. And again, what is important to understand, who is this guy? Self. And self, it is receiver. Receiver of our message. Perfect. And comment is very nice too. Answer an integer indicating how many of the receiver's elements are equivalent to an object. Perfect. Well, as you can see, it's very educational, very helpful to browse to see what methods are available and to learn how they're implemented by professionals. You can learn big deal from browsing the class hierarchy and investigating existing methods. And another thing, you will find yourself like you have re-implemented things which is already there. So, and that can increase your productivity as a programmer dramatically. Instead of re-implementing methods which is already there, you, well, more than welcome to use existing stuff. Thank you very much.